curriculum. So after I go from the teacher's lounge that I used to have coffee and muffins with my teachers, I actually can't do that because of COVID anymore, right? So now we created a digital teacher's lounge, which you can get all the forms you might want that we usually asked the front office staff. Any kind of form will either be on, if it's an HR form, like you need a leave of absence or something, then you need to go to Metro Ed Handbook. And then you can find an HR form if it's about your pay or sick time or anything to do with insurance. Definitely go to HR, and all those forms are online digitally. If it's something that's SVAE specific, especially with regard to leveling up for ESL, all of those forms will be on the teacher's lounge. And some of them are different, and they take the form of a Google form, and that has changed a little bit. So now, after I talk with the rest of the teachers in the teacher's lounge, and now I know where to go get forms. This is my lounge. I know what my classroom is, but this is my lounge. So now the next thing is, let me really understand what to do with my class. So I have some books, and one of my springboard program is called Ventures, and it's a system that we bought. It's a really important system, okay? So everyone is required to use Ventures. That's your starting point. So for example, if I'm using Ventures as my springboard, and I can just go ahead and grab this book. I know for a fact that I'm going to have a textbook for students, and I'm going to have a workbook for students. So let me pull that. Many of you came to school to get your teacher's books, and you got a goodie box, which could give you a sense of scope and sequence, what to do and how to pace. But we also are under constraints. So the scope and sequence page is a great place to start for my announcements. If I'm letting students know, this is what we're studying this week, this is where I would take a look at my calendar and be thinking about the functions I'm going to focus on and things that I want them to work on. That's what I'd be working on. And this kind of spells everything out for you, how you would take a look at that. And then it walks you through the CASAS competencies, where you're looking at the correlations. And these are all really important things that I would make mention, especially from level 3 to level 6. I would be talking about these a lot more, so that students know how they're being evaluated for leveling up procedures, how we look at their test data, and how we really want them to progress. We really don't want them to plateau and stagnate in a level, okay? You will be getting a student workbook, and the student workbook per the Williams Act is a black and white model. It's not a color. So the goal would be for students to actually write in this, and that year after year we would be purchasing this for the students. We will be giving these to the students who come into your class. These we will not. So some teachers asked me about that. I actually don't think it's very useful. What it does do is mimic Presentation Plus, and it has the audio QR codes here. And when you're in Presentation Plus, there are little keys next to these numbers that actually, if you tick on that key, it will give you the answers for all of those. And you can let students know. You can decide how you want to use this book. I would start off in the beginning, do a short mini vignette lesson and walk them through this. Whereas This book can be done when you are offline. That's something that can be assigned for extra practice for them to work at home. I really wouldn't waste my face-to-face Zoom minutes using the workbook and going over the answers one by one. I just wouldn't do it. There's other fun things that you can do. And then, of course, in your boxes, a lot of you have this English and Civics. This is now a disposable book. Disposable meaning we won't be using this anymore because we purchased Cyber Civics website, which has a bunch of other digital lessons. And this is just really dated, and there's much more fun things. So this might be in your box. You can feel free to Genius scan a few pages and put it on your Canvas class as a supplemental lesson. That's how you might want to use that. So, as I said, the venture system is a springboard. I always start and I march through the units consecutively. That's what we're going to do at this school. And I understand it's a little bit of a mind shift because folks were used to popcorning around to different units to match the civics. But the problem with that is that sometimes you only get through an entire school year having taught 4 units. And that's doing our students a disservice. We want to be able to give them a range. So they should be able to have rigor and relevance to a variety of different topics. Some people are really good at going to the hospital or eating at a restaurant or making a reservation in a hotel. And other students get really bored. So, some people want to go deeply, some people don't either. So what I would do with Unit 1, there's something called Presentation Plus. Presentation Plus is actually the textbook with a bunch of bells and whistles attached to it, like a dictionary, a glossary, a translatable dictionary feature, a timer. There's a bunch of things on how to use this, and I'll give a demo lesson soon, okay? So you have Presentation Plus, and in addition to that, you have something called the arcade. Well, the arcade is a digital piece that you're able to go through the digital portion of your idea, and then you'll be able to match that. You can match this textbook and workbook with your students, and then you can give them an assignment on Canvas, okay? So I want to go into great detail with how we would do that and what do our minutes look like and how would I craft that. So moving forward, we're going to be sending these forward to you in small vignettes so it's easier for you to understand how we would craft that lesson. All right, thank you.